Hit the switch, lights down low, mic's alive and we're ready.
Hello and welcome to Screams, Dreams and Roller Coasters. This is the podcast where we dive into places that spark curiosity, adrenaline and sometimes a few chills.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Katie.
And today for episode 1 we're heading somewhere that definitely qualifies on the Scream side of the title. We are heading to Belfast Jail, also known as Crumlin Road Jail.
It's a building that looms large over North Belfast, both physically and historically. For 150 years, this place was a central part of the city's justice system, and some of the darkest chapters of Ireland's history passed through its gates. Executions, political prisoners, hunger strikes, escapes and riots, it's all here. But today's episode isn't about ghost stories or urban legends. We'll save that for the next episode. This is a look at the history of its foreboding structure and offers an insight into its previous existence. We're telling the story of Crumlin Road Jail and how it was built, who it held and what it witnessed, and how it went from one of Europe's most feared prisons into a museum and a visitor attraction. So buckle up, this roller coaster is made of stone, iron and history.
To understand Belfast Jail, we need to go back to the early 19th century. Belfast was growing fast. Industry, shipbuilding, linen mills, and with that growth came overcrowding, poverty, and rising crime. At the time, Belfast's main prison facilities were outdated and overcrowded. The existing county jail simply couldn't cope with the population boom. So in 1843, construction began on a brand new prison on Crumlin Road. It was designed by architect Sir Charles Lanyon in 1841, the same man responsible for Queen's University Belfast and parts of the Antrim Coast Road. Lanyon designed the jail using the separate system, a Victorian prison philosophy based on strict isolation. Prisoners were meant to reflect on their crimes in complete silence. The jail officially opened in 1846, and from the outside it already looked intimidating. Thick basalt walls, narrow windows and an unmistakable fortress-like presence.
Crumlin Road Jail could hold around 500 prisoners, though at times it held many, many more. Men, women and even children were imprisoned here. In its first year of operation in 1846, there were approximately 106 prisoners, including young children, who were held within its cold and unforgiving walls. They were forced to walk in chains from the old Carrickfergus jail to Crumlin Road Jail, which was about a 4-hour trek. Children could be jailed for crimes like stealing food or clothing, and that's something that's really hard to wrap your head around today. Daily life was brutally regimented. Prisoners were kept in individual cells measuring roughly 12 feet by 7 feet and approximately 9 to 10 feet high, with little more than a bed, chamber pot and a small window. Meals were basic, often porridge or bread, and the prisoners worked long hours doing hard labour. Tasks included stone baking, oakum picking, or working in the prison laundry. Silence was enforced at all times, even in the chapel, where prisoners were separated into individual booths so they couldn't speak to one another. And punishment for breaking the rules was severe: solitary confinement. This was a way of life, sometimes up to 23 hours a day, reduced rations or physical punishment, depending on the era that we were focusing on.
One of the most infamous parts of Crumlin Road Jail is its execution chamber. Between 1854 and 1961, 17 men were executed here, all by hanging. The gallows were not built inside the jail until 1901, so these were carried out publicly until this time. From 1901 onwards, executions were carried out behind closed doors. Unlike earlier public hangings, these were private, witnessed only by prison officials, clergy and doctors. The condemned would spend their final days in a cell just metres away from the gallows. The walk to the execution chamber was incredibly short, sometimes only a few steps. After execution, the bodies were buried within the prison walls in unmarked graves. Some can be detected by small markings scratched into the perimeter wall. Although time has made these very difficult to see and make out clearly, it gives the area a very thought-provoking presence. The last man executed at Crumlin Road was Robert McGladdery on the 20th of December 1961, marking the end of capital punishment in Northern Ireland.
Crumlin Road Jail isn't just a prison. It's a mirror of Northern Ireland's political history. During the Troubles, tensions inside the prison were intense. Riots, protests and hunger strikes were not uncommon. Prisoners protested about their conditions and their political status, often clashing with guards. The jail also became a target during the Troubles, and security was always extremely tight.
One of the most fascinating features of Belfast Jail is the underground tunnel. It runs beneath Crumlin Road and connects the jail directly to the old courthouse opposite. Prisoners were transferred through the tunnel for trials, out of sight from public and securely guarded. It's cold, damp and claustrophobic, even today. Walking through it really drives home how controlled every movement of prisoner was. In the winter it's bitterly cold, yet during the summer months it would feel like walking in a stone oven. It has to be said that it has a very oppressive feel to it, possibly due to the design, but the atmosphere definitely is not a comfortable one.
By the late 20th century, Crumlin Road Jail was outdated and expensive to maintain. It officially closed on the 31st of March 1996 after 150 years of operation. For years it sat empty, crumbling, vandalised and uncertain of its future. Eventually it was redeveloped into a museum and event space, opening to the public in 2012.
Today visitors can tour the cells, execution chamber, the tunnel and the wings, learning about the real history behind the walls. Such an important step in preserving the history that unfolded, and also quite sobering to realise that for some this is the final resting place. Belfast Jail is just one of those places where history feels heavy. It's not just about crime, it's about poverty, politics, punishment and power. Thousands pass through the gates, some guilty and some not, some forgotten and some famous, but all shaped by the time that they spent there.
And that's what makes Crumlin Road Jail such an important place to remember. Well, that's it for this episode of Screams, Dreams and Roller Coasters. We really hope that you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please make sure you subscribe and like and share, and so you can join us in future conversations, because we've got another follow-up episode on Crumlin Road Jail, haven't we?
We have, and that will be the hauntings of Crumlin Road Jail. So these are things, we're not saying it's haunted or that there are actual ghosts or entities there, but these are the things that have been reported by staff and visitors over the years. So it'd be quite interesting looking at that side of this building, because it is really quite an eerie place.
And ultimately, whether it's screams, dreams or roller coasters, there's always a story. See you next time. Bye.
Hit the switch, lights down low, mic's alive and we're ready to go. From the haunted halls to the neon rides, chasing chills and electric highs. Katie's got the ghost report, Mark's got games you can't ignore. From Comic-Con to midnight screams, it's more than thrills, it's chasing dreams. We're turning static into stories, ride the loop, no guts, no glory. Young screams, dreams and roller coasters, turn it up, we're getting closer to the heart of the night, and the lights in our eyes, spinning through the dark on a wild new ride. Screams, dreams and roller coasters, Katie and Mark are your ghostly hosts. Yeah, plug in, hang tight, let your spirit fly. We're chasing every thrill under moonlit skies. Pixel worlds and phantom sounds, every topic turns around. From spooky myths to gaming streams, we're living loud, we're chasing dreams. Every drop, every twist, you don't wanna miss this mix. Buckle in, hit subscribe, this is life amplified. From ghost towns to VR zones, you'll never ride this track alone. closer to the heart of the night, and the lights in our eyes, spinning through the dark on a wild new ride. Screams, dreams, and roller coasters. Katie and Mark are your ghostly hosts. Yeah, plug in, hang tight, let your spirit fly. We're chasing every thrill under moonlit skies. Yeah. Haunted laughter in stereo echoes where the brave won't go. Press play, the journey starts. Two voices, one wild heart. Yeah, screams, dreams, and roars.